The National Assembly has adopted new rules, paving the way for the establishment of a dedicated oversight committee, before which the President, Deputy President and Director General will be required to account on budget as well as policy matters. The Rules Committee report was adopted, clearing the path for an 11-member committee expected to strengthen parliamentary scrutiny of this executive. This marks the first time since the dawn of democracy that the presidency will formally be held accountable for its operations. Until now, it has been only the State Department not directly accountable to Parliament. I'm joined now by Doris Mpapane, chairperson of the Subcommittee on Rules. A very good afternoon to you, Doris. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us. It is a historic development, this, the Oversight Committee on the Presidency since the dawn of democracy. From your perspective, what does the moment signify for the country's constitutional democracy?
Good afternoon, Nompumelelo, and your viewers at home. From my perspective, I think it is a good thing that everyone is held accountable, irrespective of the position that you are holding.
So let's talk about, in terms of democratic processes and a separation of power, how significant is this move?
Nompumelelo, the Constitution, our Constitution, which was adopted in 1996, empowers Parliament and the National Assembly to ensure that all executive organs of the state account in the national sphere, account to Parliament. So I think everyone will be happy to see that Parliament is exercising its powers that it has empowered by the Constitution of the Republic.
Doris, the ANC Deputy Chief Whip, Doris Tlhakuda, said that the arguments for this committee first arose in the 6th Parliament. We are now in the 7th Parliament. What have the internal processes and the challenges preventing the committee's establishment been?
Okay, Nompumelelo, is Doris Mpapane. Let me say that indeed, indeed, it emanates from the 6th Parliament. Let's remember that in the 6th Parliament, there was the Judicial Commission of Inquiry led by former Chief Justice Zondo, who made recommendations to Parliament. And all those recommendations were directed to the relevant portfolio committees. So this one of the establishment of the Oversight Committee on the Presidency was then referred to the Rules Committee. Then the Rules Committee resolved in the 6th Parliament to undertake a study tour to benchmark with countries on other distinct oversight mechanisms and further resolve that any matter of accountability, the Portfolio Committee on Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation will have to take responsibility of. And the DG in the presidency has accounted to that Portfolio Committee. Then in the 7th Parliament, the Rules Committee voted to establish the Oversight Committee on the Presidency, vote 1, and that the Subcommittee on Rules should work on the modalities and the proposals to the Rules Committee. So the internal processes that took place is that in the subcommittee, that subcommittee is represented by different political parties. So we used to engage each other, then each party will go back to their caucuses to consult with them, and then as political parties, we engage one another until we reach consensus. That's when we agreed to send the report to the Rules Committee for adoption.
Let's talk about those modalities. The President as well as Deputy President will be required to appear before the committee annually to discuss policy matters of national as well as international significance. How does the structured appearance enhance accountability?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I dropped my paper. Indeed, the President and the Deputy President will appear once per annum to respond to those matters of our national and international policies. So what will happen is that the committee itself, as it will be established in the next year, in the new year, will have to undertake a process of making sure that they undertake a strategic planning session, and also they have to come up with their program. And those programs will have to be the quarterly and annual programs that will determine their work. And in that way, they will be able to assess their progress with regard to the committee. Then another issue is that this committee, as you all know, that Parliament, the National Assembly and Parliament is governed by its own rules. So rule number 185 of the National Assembly rules allows for any member of Parliament to sit in any committee and participate except for voting. So the committee will be open to the public as all committees of Parliament, and the President will assign any member of the executive and the DG to appear before the committee to account on matters of administration and operational matters. Thank you very much.
Accountability is one thing. Doris, how will this Parliament and specifically the Rules Committee measure the success of the new committee?
The success of the committee will be measured according to their program of action. All portfolio committees in Parliament, they undertook their strategic plan and they have their program of action for the whole year. So they will have to assess themselves based on their strategic plan and their program of action.
You have had some reaction from opposition parties. The MK party has objected, claiming that the proposed composition of this committee is not fair and it undermines the purpose of the committee because it is dominated by the Government of National Unity partners. What is your reaction to that?
Nompumelelo, as we all know, the elections put us where we are now. So what I can say is that the composition of this committee will be proportional like all other committees in Parliament. They are represented proportionally. And we couldn't agree on a bigger committee which will have maybe 15 or 17 members. This is for the first time that we are having this kind of a committee. So we decided on having an 11-member committee so that the committee can be manageable. But any member of Parliament is allowed to sit in any committee as per Rule 185 and participate in those committees.
Doris, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That was Doris Mpapane, Subcommittee on Rules Chairperson.